Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name's Justin. Today is September 10th, 2020, the tropical update. Today is the climatological peak, start of the peak of the hurricane season, and we are there for sure. Just a view of our website here. As you can see, it's back to normal. Everything you need still there. Go to the website, sign up, volunteer for donating supplies, anything like that. Go ahead and move on to our weather outlook here. As you can see, we have 4 areas of interest we are watching, plus the 2 storms. I believe this one has been declared an invest. It has just moved off the African coast. We've been watching that one for a few days now. This one here near the Bahamas, and then actually did not know it until they posted it, but this yellow blob over here off to the Central Gulf. So to move on, we'll go ahead and take a look at the Atlantic wide. This is Paulette, this is Renee, this is that area of interest. And this is that second one for the orange blob moving this direction. This is the area of thunderstorms for that yellow that will move this way. And this area right here is the one in orange that will essentially start moving this way. Just a note real quick, Paulette will make a run at hurricane status. The ridge should not build up enough in time. It will essentially recurve. Biggest threat would be to Bermuda. Swells along the east coast right here, rip current. Renee is expected to kind of come up and possibly loop, and then could come back this way, kind of far out. It could eventually make it out to sea, but that's further than 5 to 7 days. The biggest in terms of a major hurricane threat would be this one right here. As the ridge builds in up here, it'll allow this storm to ride south and west, which could put it in the Caribbean. That's about as far as we're going to go because it's further than 7 days. Again, we don't like to speculate further than that because it will change. And lastly, these 2 storms here, we'll go ahead and drop into the IR loop that is closer. As you can see, we'll talk about this one right here. It is essentially, there's a low chance. Water temps are still very warm. Conditions in the Gulf are actually very good for development, so it is possible we could still see a potential tropical cyclone advisory put out for it before landfall, or even possibly a tropical depression. The biggest threat would be this way here, the Mexican coastline, maybe far south Texas. And again, the biggest threat from these 2 really are going to be rain with a little bit of wind. The next one we're watching right here, which has currently a 40% chance over 5 days. Right now they only give it a 40%, but things, it's happened this year. We would have a lemon, as we call it. The lemon turns into a storm within 24 hours. Sometimes they just happen, but essentially this storm is going to make its way this way into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. At that point, the way the steering currents as in winds are set up, it essentially kind of makes a loop up and like this. And what that's going to end up doing is carrying that storm in this general direction. I wouldn't rule out a tropical depression, possibly a tropical storm. As you can see, infrared does show a big burst of convection. We do have some spin. It's going to be entering really warm water, low shear, some pretty good conditions for development. The biggest threat is going to be, I would say, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Gulf Coast right here. That is the potential area they're highlighting, and I can see it from the steering currents. I do feel our biggest threat from this will be rain A little bit of coastal surge in terms of storm surge from the storm. There's not as much time available over water to ramp up to a hurricane status. Essentially, it just depends on organization. It was something we have to keep an eye on. As always, if you don't have your preps in place, you need to have them in place. If you live southeast Louisiana or Mississippi Gulf Coast, you really need to consider having your supplies now, as a lot of people have been diverting their supplies in southwest Louisiana, and it may be harder to obtain water or some non-perishable items. And then also to consider on evacuations, please check ahead. We still have a lot of people that may be displaced from Lake Charles in southwest Louisiana over in these areas, and your normal go-to for an evacuation could be full. So please do your due diligence, check on it, see if they have availability in case the need arises. This shouldn't be a major hurricane or a humongously significant event, but again, things can change in a matter of hours. So again, please, do your due diligence, check your preps, check your plans, review them, and be ready to act. Continue to follow the National Hurricane Center and your local weather office for more information. Thanks.